Today we're going to be talking about one of the main reasons you have a difficult time cutting the narcissist loose. What I hear a lot in my coaching classes and in my one-to-one coaching is how difficult it is to release a narcissist from a romantic relationship because of this need to feel like you won. In other words, like when you know that you're dating somebody who is dating other women or who is dating other men, you can feel less than. And you can get caught up thinking that the goal is to become the chosen one. It's really difficult when you discover that someone that you care about, someone that you love, someone that you trusted, someone that lured you in, someone who was superficially charming, who convinced you that they were deep and that they had empathy, has really lured you into a really ridiculous relationship that is just built on sand, right? It's really difficult. And you can become attached to this person, and you can become attached to the fantasies that they create in your mind. And they lie, right? They tell you that it's going to be great, that they have money, that you're going to move here, their kids are going to love your kids, and one day it's going to be awesome, and just the lies that they tell you over and over and over and over and over to create this map or this schema in your head about how it's going to be and how great it's going to be. And so you get hooked. Narcissist drags you in, you get hooked. And now what happens is you discover that there's more than one. Then there's more than one source of narcissistic supply. And you can feel abandoned, and you can feel less than, and you can feel like you've lost. And you can get really caught up in thinking that the goal is to be the chosen one. Well, if he only chooses me, if he comes back and he comes to his senses and he only chooses me, if I ghost him for a little while and if I go no contact for a little while, surely he'll miss me and he'll come back to me. He'll forget this new girlfriend or she'll forget this new boyfriend or whatever. They'll forget these other people that they're messing with, and then they will choose me. And then I will feel like the chosen one. And this can get us stuck in a loop of dysfunctional beliefs. It can get us stuck thinking that the prize or the booby prize is to win with the narcissist or to beat out the source of narcissistic supply, which if you think about it, what kind of prize is that really? Is that a prize? No. But if a narcissist has done a good enough job, they will have convinced you that that you can't exist without them, that you can't trust your logic, that you can't make decisions without them. And so there's this idea set up in your mind, this hierarchy of thought that has you unconsciously believing that the goal is to be with the narcissist, even though logically you may not want to be. Even though logically, all logical evidence points to this person being a narcissist, to being arrogant, to being a cheater, to being a liar, and pathological liar, to being deceitful. All evidence is pointing into that direction, that they're bullies, right? They're oppressors. But in your mind, there's this unconscious drive to be the chosen one when it comes to the narcissist. And so this is the background noise. And so when you finally set a boundary and you cut the narcissist loose and you're alone for a while, there's still this longing to be the chosen one. It just doesn't go away. And you can get caught up in this loop of thought that has you believing that, well, if he comes back to me, then maybe we can have a family again. If he comes back to me, maybe things can go back to normal. And so if he chooses me, that's the answer, right? And outside your conscious awareness, you're being driven to deny what these experiences have done to you. You are literally chasing this carrot down the street and up a mountain and back down the mountain. You're chasing this carrot and you believe that the answer is to gain the graces of the narcissist. And when we stop to look at this pattern of thought consciously, when we stop the train, when we just go, whoa, 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 let me stop the thoughts in my head and let me just observe what's happening in my mindscape. Is this really a prize after all? Do I really want this person back? Is it really a prize to be chosen by a narcissist? You can never forget how a narcissist thinks. Studies have even proven that narcissists, the area of the brain responsible for empathy, doesn't function like the area of a brain of someone who actually has high empathy. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, without empathy, there can be no real relationship, because when someone is abusing you, they have to be able to atone. They have to be able to say, I'm sorry. They shouldn't abuse you at all in the first place, but everybody has a bad day. Everybody says things they don't mean, and everybody reacts in the moment when they don't have the life skills to actually handle pressure or stress. And so everybody will react. But healthy people, once they calm down, they're actually able to say, I'm sorry, I was triggered, I behaved in an inappropriate way, I recognize that I hurt you. See, that's something a narcissist can't do. A narcissist can't say, I know how my cheating or my lying affected you. They have to dig in their heels. They have to justify, deny, and laugh off why they're abusing you. And that is across the board when you're dealing with someone with high narcissistic traits. So they steal your money and like, oh yeah, sorry about that, but you're sorry about that? What do you mean you're sorry about that? Or they cheat on you and they're like, oh, well, you pushed me to it. There's just zero accountability, and they're constantly poking holes in your logic. They're constantly pushing your boundaries, making you question if you have a right to actually have the boundary. And, below the veil of consciousness, you're being set up to believe that you can't trust your logic, that you can't trust your perceptions. And so you begin to think that the answer to all of your problems is to get back into good graces with the narcissist because he or she is smart. You need this person, right? Well, that's what they want you to believe. A narcissist wants you to believe that you need them. And so when you start thinking for yourself, when you start setting boundaries, right, the narcissist might back off a little bit. And in that space, when they backed off a little bit, you're thinking they're learning their lesson. And that's a fantasy, because narcissists don't learn lessons. It's very sad, but it is what it is. They're not going to learn any lessons. They're going to pull back, and they're going to figure out, just how far they can push you. They're going to try to figure out just how stupid you are. And that really is also very common. Narcissists see victims of narcissistic abuse as less than them, almost deserving to be taken advantage of. Someone who has an oppressive personality, who bullies another person. And when you are a decent person, and it's not in your nature to bite back. It's not in your nature to fight. It's not in your nature to think that everybody is, you can't trust anybody. In fact, it's in your nature to want to trust everybody. Unfortunately, you're a target for a narcissist, because you are not going to bite the narcissist back. You're not going to push back. And when you have an oppressive person in your life and you don't push them back, they oppress you further. That's just the way it works, right? And so it's important that we understand ourselves. So if you're somebody who likes to see the good in everybody, you're a target. If you're someone who doesn't think that people can be evil, you're a target. If you're someone who doesn't understand that the world is both black, good, bad, evil, love, it's all of those things, right? So if you're somebody who just wants to believe that everything's wonderful and people are awesome, and you have this Pollyanna type attitude towards the world, unfortunately, you are like blood in the water, and a narcissist is a shark. They're going to smell you. So when it comes to interpersonal relationships, we really have to know our characteristics. We have to know who we are. We have to know how we show up. We have to know how we perceive the world. Are you a rescuer? Are you an enabler? Are you a fixer? Do you have high empathy? Are you somebody who always sees the best in other people? Is it difficult for you to hold people accountable? Because if that's the case, you are a terrific target for a narcissist. It just is what it is. So let's say you're in the situation where you've ended a relationship with a narcissist, or you've ended a relationship with someone who has high narcissistic traits, a bully, a controlling person. Could be a friend, could be a lover, it could be a sibling. Let's say you've done it, right? Like you've ended the relationship for a while. And now you're in that meantime of missing the narcissist. And you might, if you are in that weird space and you're wondering, do they miss me? If you're wondering, what the goal is, if you have any fantasy around this idea that it's good if the narcissist picks me, right? So if you're playing these games where you're trying to look all sexy on social media, you're trying to look all hot for the ex, and you're posting all these sexy pics on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat because you want the narcissist to pick you, you're playing a very dangerous game. Because the narcissist has no problem dumping the newest source of narcissistic supply to have a night with you. The narcissist has no problem sweet-talking you into a situation where they can abuse you again. And you can get, if the loop in your head is, the positive feedback loop is that, oh yes, it's good if the narcissist picks me, you're going to stay on that karmic wheel of narcissistic abuse. And only when you decide, I want off, will you actually get off. And so it really is up to us to recognize how being dumped by a narcissist or discarded by a narcissist or discovering a narcissist has cheated on us is going to trigger our abandonment trauma. And if we are highly codependent, if we have high empathy, if we have a difficult time standing up for ourselves and setting boundaries, it's very simple to slip into this thought process where we think that the goal is attachment to this amazing, grandiose, self-confident, charismatic narcissist. If this narcissist picks me, I must be good enough. If this narcissist drops the narcissistic supply, then I must be good enough. So it really is a codependent thought where I am good enough if, I am good enough when. And it's rooted back to abandonment trauma, and it's highly dysfunctional. And this is why I always say that when it comes to narcissism, codependency is two sides of the same coin. Because a narcissist needs a codependent. A codependent needs someone in their life to offer them direction, to offer them praise, to offer them the ability to rescue someone else so that they can feel good about themselves. So be very, very careful about using this narcissistic, very dysfunctional narcissistic dynamic to garner a sense of self or a sense of validation or worth from trying to become the narcissist's chosen one. A narcissist will love if you're fighting with another woman, for first place in his life. They're going to love that. He's going to get off on that. And it's the same thing with females. So if you are a man and you're involved with a female and she has cheated on you, and you are trying to be good enough for her because of this female narcissist, you're trying to be good enough for her, you're hoping that she picks you, you're playing a very dangerous game. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is you want to make sure that no one is your higher power. You want to make sure that you stand up tall. You want to make sure that you love yourself. You want to make sure that you rise to the challenge of being abandoned and brush your knees off and brush your shoulders off and know that you're enough in spite of what's just happened. You want to know that you can recognize that the world is full of good as well as bad. And that it is possible. There are people out there. There are people out there, parasitic type personalities, who will take you, take your money, take your emotions, move into your house, take your house, turn everyone against you for their own gain. They will triangulate you. They will project on you. They will smear your name. They will steal your money. They will open up credit cards in your name. They will do that. These people exist. And we can actually see these people's brains on brain scans because they lack empathy. And you can actually, in the area of the brain that's responsible for empathy, you can actually see the deficit. This is real. And so to be a human being and to go frolic through the woods thinking everybody's awesome, I'm a light worker, everybody is awesome. No, not everybody is awesome. There are some really evil people out there. Thank heaven, at least in my own opinion, most people are decent human beings. Do we all have a little bit of narcissism in us? Of course we do, because if you don't have an I, you can't exist. So, and those of us who have no narcissism, we have no I, we are the easiest to pick up on in a situation for a narcissist, because the less of an I that you have, the more of a delicious dessert you are to a narcissistic person. So please, 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 if you are in a situation where you hear your mind thinking, well, I hope he picks me, or I hope she picks me, knock it off. Just knock it off, D1, because that is a dysfunctional thought process. Your loop is on a dysfunctional loop. You have to recognize that what you're associating pleasure with is really being chosen by a narcissist. You don't want to be chosen by a narcissist. Not the first time, not the second time, not the third time. It's going to be a horrible existence. So being chosen by a narcissist is no bueno. You want to be off a narcissist's radar. You know how you do that? You build your self-confidence. You build your self-worth. you recognize that sometimes in life, you have to bite back. If you sit back and you don't bite back, if you don't bark back, then guess what? That oppressive person, that narcissistic person, they target you and they recognize that you are a victim, that you don't have the self-esteem to defend yourself. And unfortunately, and it's really sad, but it is what it is, people in society that do not defend themselves, unfortunately, get pushed around all the time, right? Children in school that cry are targets for bullies, right? They're actually representing themselves and showing the other kids in the class that I can't do this. I can't stand up for myself. I'm afraid, right? And it's terrible that you would think that an innocent child that is so tender is going to be a mark for a bully. But this is society. And it's terrible to think that you can be a kind-hearted man and have so much empathy, and you can be a kind-hearted woman and have so much empathy and open up your heart to someone that you met at church or a synagogue, right? And behind the mask is the agenda that really has them wanting to abuse and exploit your kindness. But it's a reality. So I hope that this video has inspired you to bite back. I hope that this video has inspired you to erase and eradicate and confront any thought in your head that makes you feel like you want to be the chosen one of a narcissist. You want to win. You want them to pick you over that other girl, right? You want him to dump his wife for you, or you want her to dump her husband for you, right? You really have to look at that. Do you really want to be the chosen one of a narcissist? I don't think so. Not really. So look at that square in the face and know that the more you know about yourself and how you show up in relationships, right, the more you're able to take care of yourself inside relationship dynamics. Never settle in life. Always go out for the best because you deserve the best. You are enough, and you are as important as any star in the sky. You are as important as any tree on earth. You are as important as any human being that has ever lived, that is living, and ever shall live. And that's the truth. But when you live with a narcissist, you give all that adoration to them, and they make you think that they are your higher God. But that's just not the truth. My name is Lisa Romano. I'm the Breakthrough Life Coach and best-selling author of 6 books, and my next book, the 7th book, will be due out soon. And I'm also creating a Loving the Self affirmation app that you'll be able to download in the iTunes store soon, so you can receive loving affirmations from me every day right to your phone. I'm also the creator of the 12-Week Breakthrough Coaching Program. It's a program for adult children of alcoholics, adult children of narcissistic parents. If you're somebody who's struggling with self-esteem, and if you love personal development work, if you know that you have trouble setting boundaries, if you keep attracting narcissists, the 12-Week Breakthrough Coaching Program can help you resolve the subconscious programs that are keeping you stuck. It will also help you create life skills that you can use every day to enhance your life experience. No more narcissistic bait. And if you want to jump into my Breakthrough Warrior membership site, you can do that today at half off. Just click the link below. And if you're interested in listening to any of my books that are available on audible.com, yep, you can listen to one of my books for free today too. Just click the link below. Namaste everybody. Until next time, be careful out there. If you love this content, check out the next video, and don't forget to click the link below so you can take the codependency quiz. They do not want to be seen like everybody else. The narcissist very much fears being called out.